what the hell is Jake Walman going to get next year? He's third on that list when you search by points by a defenseman. And I think his offensive numbers, last year, 7 goals, 33 assists in 65 games. He's probably a 50-point defenseman next year on the Edmonton Oilers, and he probably won't get a lot of power play time, which, like, again, is maybe a factor in San Jose, but he's going to get to play shifts with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl pretty regularly. He's going to put up points next season, Liam, and I mean, there's a chance Rasmus Andersson, Mike Matheson, Nico Mikkola, and again, Cam Fowler, Jake Walman. Darren Radish is maybe a little bit in the conversation because he's 29, but the list isn't all that long. If guys start getting scooped up and signed, I don't know. There's a world where Jake Walman's commanding $6 to $7 million on his next contract.
I do see it being closer to the $7 million. Like, again, the cap's taking, isn't it, $8 million leap next season? He might just take all of that up himself or most of it. You said about the power play, you might not get much time. I really do wonder with the new coach coming in, how that power play looks a little bit differently. What does Nugent-Hopkins' role look like on the power play? Does Walman able to sneak in? And maybe they go for a bit of a different approach. Obviously, we saw it a little bit towards the end of the cup final as well. It's going to be interesting. Davin Pussinell Walman is not better than Nurse. He is. He is a lot better than Nurse. He's way more consistent than Nurse. Another thing, too, it sounds like Walman was maybe a little bit banged up in the cup final and had his bad moments, of course, too. But I think most part was a better one. Loomis said flip Ekholm and Walman's salaries. I just think Walman's going to get a little bit more, but I think I would agree that he would get more of a raise than what Ekholm is due to get this summer as well. The Oilers have a lot of defensemen coming off the box. I think everyone basically besides Emberson, Nurse, and Bouchard, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, there's only 3 defensemen on the books next year. Yeah, Emberson, Nurse, and Bouch. So
yeah, but I think it's fair for Walman to do that, and he should be a solid player for them this season. Now, this is a deal where we were upset about Bouchard only getting 4 years. You're probably going to be okay if Walman comes around and is like, I don't want 8, I only want 4.
Yeah, but I don't see that because he's 29 years old, so he's negotiating a deal for his 30-year-old season. 30-year-old UFA, totally different than the 25-year-old RFA, where Bouchard's going, no, I'm setting myself up for that big ticket at 30 years old, right when I can get to unrestricted free agency or just a couple of years after it. Walman's probably going to be hunting a 7 or 8 year deal, and that's actually something that could benefit the Oilers. Like, look at what we saw with Mitch Marner, right? I think Mitch Marner's AAV is where it is with Vegas because they could offer him the 8th year, and like when players get to 30, they kind of know it's their last big ticket. They care more about total dollars than AAV necessarily. So let's say Jake Walman on the open market goes, I can get 7 by 7. Well, that's $49 million. The Oilers, because they can offer him an 8th year, 8 by 6.125. So let's even say you're trying to sign him right now before he has a big year. Would you do an 8-year, $6 million deal for Jake Walman? I do.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, because again, by the time he's 38, that's probably $3 million, third pair defenseman money anyway. So it feels a little bit irrelevant. And Nurse obviously gone off the Bucks by that point. Yeah, I mean, it's not something that's going to break the bank, dude. I just think like with the numbers that were thrown around this year, I just don't see a way it doesn't touch 7 million. I really don't, even for 8 years.
Yeah, but again, like with that 8th year, so like let's say Walman could go to UFA and get 7 years and an $8 million AAV because there's some team with the cap shooting up who's just really, really hungry. And listen, this is also a guy who, Detroit had to attach an asset to 12 months ago to get rid of. Wouldn't have been nice if the Oilers just jumped on it then. Yeah. It would have been something. But like $56 million on an 8-year deal is still only 7, right? So I think we're dealing for Walman in that $6 to $7 million range and terms maybe where the Oilers try to work on it a little bit. Because again, like 8 by 6 might end up saving you a little bit of money. There's no world, I think, though, where he's south of 6 on his next deal. I think we're going to see him go north of 6, especially just with that free agent class being what it is. And if guys start coming off the board and all of a sudden it's like, hey, it's Walman, Matheson, and no one else on the free agency list next summer, some team's going to give him a big, big offer. And you can talk about the Oilers cap situation. But again, we're talking about a cap that's going to be $104 million for when that season kicks in. Let's say Walman and McDavid come in at what, $24 million combined? One of them's 18, one of them's 6. One of them, probably 18 and 6 is a fair mark to set for each of them. So let's say it's 24. The Oilers with $46 million in cap space, that would bring them down to $22 million, and that would be with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 forwards. At that point, 4 defensemen. So with $22 million, can you sign 2 goalies, 3 defensemen, and 4 to 5 forwards? Like, I mean, it gets a little muddy. You can see a path to it being muddy. I mean, you know, the Podkolzins and stuff of the world probably change that math and help you focus some money somewhere else. And who knows what the goaltending ends up being in Edmonton after this season, but yeah, it'll be tough. Francesca says, what UFAs do they try to sign in season? And I mean, I would be trying to get Jake Walman done. You could maybe wait till December and be like, all right, now that we have 2.5 more months of this, we know for sure he's a fit here. Maybe you're only 85, 90% sure right now. We know he's a fit 99% by December. Okay, Jake, we're comfortable. Let's do an 8-year, $6.5 million deal and let's keep you around. But yeah.
I think one thing to consider for Walman too when it comes to his contract is he was drafted in 2014 but didn't play his first NHL game until the 2020 season. He only has $15 million in career earnings. Like, he'll probably want the bag, you know what I mean? Like, he'll want to make his money up from comparison to what you could say people of his draft class gained when he was just in the minors as well. So I think that'll be a layer of things. Obviously, like you said, with the contracts the year after, they're going to hope that guys like Sam O'Reilly can take a step. That Russian guy whose name I can't say, does he make it to team? Even like someone like this, a long shot, but Samuel Johansson, that rookie that's coming in from Finland, or Sweden, wherever he's from, coming this year. Like, he did win goalie of the year over there. Like, is he be able to take a step? First year pro in the American League and go from there. We talked about it on Friday a little bit when you were away, but just like, this team is weirdly getting younger in front of our eyes, and no one's kind of recognized it in that way. Like, their average age has already dropped a year. And also, when you get rid of guys like Corey Perrigan and Derek Ryan, that's going to help. But yeah, it's interesting keeping a guy like Jake Walman down. I do think of something that probably top of the list outside of McDavid, which I think, again, I'm just assuming that gets done before the season starts anyway.
Yeah, and it will be. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.